Because the people are not getting what they want, and they have been led to this place by a leader, it's very tempting for them to point at the leader and say, it's all your fault. If you hadn't led us to where we are, if you haven't been doing what you've been doing, if you weren't the sort of leader that you are, if you would just... It's all about them. Even though the real issue, as we've learned all the way throughout this, is with God. They've got a problem with God. You know, where are you in all this? That's where it starts. But quite not very satisfying, is it, to just, where are you, O God? Because he rarely answers back. And so to find somebody to blame for the circumstance that I am in. This is a way that we start trusting in flesh. Now, I'll say to all of us, we've had things happen, sad things, disappointing things. And there is no doubt in my mind that your life really would be very different than it is now if only he hadn't or she hadn't or he would have or she would have. I understand that. But in the final analysis, it is God who has promised to never forsake us or desert us. It is God who has said that he can take anything that happens and goes in our life and force it to work together for good of shaping us and turning us into the image of what God wants for us to be. He can use any tool at his disposal. But because we don't often see the whole point, we don't realize that there's a gap between when you get out of Egypt and when you get into the Promised Land. We're Polaroid kinds of Christians. You know, we want digital photo. We want it right now. That when on the journey, God allows things to happen so that he can ultimately manifest his greatness. And that's the theme that you'll see. God knows that they need water. He made them, for crying out loud. He knows what percent water are we? 90-something or other. Those of you that want to be a millionaire, congratulations. There's a lot of water in you. He knows that. He knows that people evaporate and dry out and everything in the water. It's not like, oh, goodness, I forgot the water. I'm sorry, kids. That's not how God is in all this. He really has it under control.